Hello, good evening here, whatever time of the day it is for you. And I want to ask a question to all the tarot readers out there. How do you guys read for your clients in person? Do you let the client touch, shuffle, or somehow have a physical contact with the deck that you are using for the reading? Or do you shuffle the cards yourself and then spread them and read? There are two different ways and opinions when it comes to this, and most of the amazing readings that I had were from people that did not ask me or request or proposed for me to have any sort of physical contact with their deck. I never thought much of it because at that time I was not aware of anything and knew absolutely nothing about card reading, oracle, tarot, any sort of cards. But now, as I've practiced and read for people, I get constantly asked the question, don't I have to shuffle the cards? And I don't let my clients, friends, or whoever they are, shuffle the cards. Why? Because I believe, and the way I learned, the deck that I'm using is my instrument. The information that I'm receiving comes through my intuition and through my deck. The person that is sitting next to me has already given me the name. If I needed anything more than the name, I already can see their face. Some people also ask for date of birth. I don't do that, especially if the person is in my presence. So I personally do not believe that I need a client to shuffle the cards for me, simply for a reason that the moment the person touches the deck, he influences it with his energy. For me, what does it mean? It means that the cards that the person is going to pull will be speaking the language of that person. The way I learned it is the person that reads the cards is the person that shuffles the deck. The person that shuffles the deck is the person that reads the cards, and no other way. So, you know how sometimes we watch YouTube videos of people pull cards, or not even YouTube videos, we have readings, and then they read the cards in a way that we would never read them. And why is that? Because they have their own connection with that deck. They've worked with that deck, they learned the language of the deck, they infused it with their energy. It's their instrument. So if we want to have a metaphor, it's like a wand of the magician. Would you give your wand to another person in order for them to ask a question? No. You would allow them to ask a question, or a crystal ball. You would still be looking into your crystal ball. You wouldn't ask the person to rub the crystal ball. Their presence there is enough. And that, of course, applies to remote readings. When we read remotely for people, we don't need them to shuffle the cards. Although I know a tarot reader in Australia, and she's a very well-known tarot reader. She's written multiple books and she's great. Her specific technique is that when she does remote readings, she requests for her client to buy their own deck, even if they have zero knowledge about tarot. She will send them the spread that they will have to set the cards into prior to the reading. And then when the reading begins, she asks them to shuffle the cards and then pull the cards and place them in the positions as instructed by her. And then she reads it for them. And it works for her. That's how she does it. For me, I have tried it the way my friend wanted a reading and she wanted to shuffle the deck and she pulled the cards. And it was very hard for me to read them because she has pulled the cards. So for me, they were not, I didn't pull the cards. I didn't shuffle the deck. It was hard for me to try and receive the information or tune in to the cards that she pulled because it was not me asking the question. It was not me shuffling the cards. It was her shuffling my deck. It was her asking the question as she shuffled, and it was her pulling the cards. So naturally for me, it's supposed to be her who reads the cards because once again, I learned it in a way that the person that shuffles the cards is the person that reads them. So if the client has a question, I take the deck, I shuffle the deck while asking the question and tuning into that person's energy that is sitting right next to me. I don't need them to have physical contact with my deck because they are in my energy field and I am in their energy field and there is nothing else that I need. And energy knows no space-time limitation, which means that the person can be on Zoom, they can be somewhere else, as long as I know their name, as long as I have their picture. If I don't have their picture, as long as I have their date of birth, I don't need them to be next to me. I don't need them to shuffle my deck. This is my instrument and it's for me to shuffle and it's for me to pull the cards, and then I know for sure that what I'm reading is accurate because I have shuffled and I have pulled and information is coming to me through the cards or through me and into the cards one way or another. I find it personally very hard for me to read for people when they want to shuffle the deck, and it has nothing to do with it's mine and I don't want you to touch it. No, it's not like that. I just find it's as if a person had a question and they've written it with their own handwriting that is hard for me to read, and then they're asking me to read their handwriting. And naturally, I will trip out in some moments because I don't know their handwriting. And I feel like when the person pulls the cards, it's the message is coming through them, for them. And so it's their understanding and their view and their interpretation of the cards that will influence which cards they will pull. So it's for them to read it. And the moment I interrupt and try to read what they pulled, things get a bit messy. But that is my perspective, and maybe because this is the way I learned it, so I'm influencing this process with this belief. So I would be very curious to know how you guys, dear fellow tarot readers and colleagues, do readings in person. Do you let your clients or friends or family members shuffle your deck and pull the cards? Or do you do the whole process by yourself? Or do you let them simply touch it and then you shuffle and then you read? How do you do it? I'd be very curious to hear. This was my opinion. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment below. I'd be very interested to know different views on this. Thank you. This was Elora, and have a lovely time of the day.